All right, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about some things Jack and I learned today, including why customer should always come first and why you should, when asking questions, frame the questions in terms of a timeline and a now and a recent past, not a in general and a future. And I'll kind of go more into depth with this. So today we actually went to a UW Milwaukee entrepreneurship thing that Jack found out about, I don't know, like a week ago or something. And so I think they have it every Wednesday around noon. So we decided to go check it out. And it was very beneficial. It taught us a few things. First, that we need to work on how to convey our message and our idea, because a lot of people don't know the words and like niche definitions within the industry, even if it's something like wholesaler. I mean, some of you guys watching might not even know what that is. So we realized we need to, once we get to the right moment, which we're not there yet, we need to be able to pitch the idea in a way that a third grader can understand, but also in a way where a multi-million-dollar or billion-dollar venture capital can see the vision in and get behind. So the number one thing is to talk to the problem, not to what you're going to do. And the way you get to the actual problem is by speaking to as many people in the industry or as many of your customers as possible. And initially we were deciding, I was saying we should talk to them in person. Jack was saying we should do surveys. So we kind of like went into a combination of send out surveys and then give them a call and schedule in person. When we went there, they were saying we should just scrap the surveys because you're not going to get any information, any valuable information off of that. The real information comes with in-person speaking and the body language, the tonality, the inflections of voice. And that's a good tip for anyone out there who's looking to get true and real feedback on whatever they're building or whatever problem they're attempting to solve. Always go towards in-person, face-to-face as a number one. Number two, if you can't get there, do like a Zoom call or a FaceTime or something like that. At least you're face-to-face, you can see expressions. You don't always see specific behavior. And then number three is on calls, where you can at least see tonality and inflection of voice, but there's no body language or any sort of like face, anything like that. And the worst is through just writing, whether it's text or surveys or whatever. So try to avoid that at all costs, or if it could work to use a funnel if you have a lot of people you can reach out to. But even then, in the beginning, it's always worth your time to just manually do everything versus automate it or try to automate it, because the most value you can give right now is the experience. Because, like, let's say you're a phone company that's going to rival Apple. Apple's going to have you beat in every aspect of the game. The only place where you can have them beat is with the experience and being as personable and providing as much value as possible to each individual user and making them feel special. Because Apple can't do that. They're like serving millions, hundreds of millions. It could be in the billions. I don't even know of users. Probably is. But anyways, it definitely is. Anyways, play to your advantages. And when you're small, your advantage is that you're small and that you can dedicate your focus to that individual person and make every single person feel like they are truly part of something greater and that you're treating them as a superstar, we can say. And don't worry if this is not scalable, which is something we recently learned, is it doesn't matter if it's not scalable. Two reasons. The first reason is scalability is a lot easier and there are a lot more avenues to do than you think in the beginning, which like we don't even know how it would work, but it doesn't matter that we don't know. It's the fact that we do it now, it'll instill a culture in our business to do it down the line. I think Jack's coming in. So I'll wrap this up before he comes in, we get distracted. But the other thing that they brought up that was very important was using timing and time framing questions. So if you're asking about a problem, it shouldn't be, do you generally have this problem and would you generally want this fixed? Because everybody can say generally they want it, but not actually take the action to do it. So you want to see what specific examples of that problem they've had in the past week, 2 weeks, maybe month, maybe year, depending on the timeline of your problem. Yo, what's up? And say what's up to the vlog.
Oh, what's up?
All right, back to what we were saying is you want to give them an exact timeline so they can more accurately portray the information that they're dealing with. And instead of saying, would this be something, like would this solution be something you'd be interested in, what have you done in the past week, 2 weeks, month, year to actively try to solve this issue? What money have you spent? What time have you spent? What energy have you spent? Because these are where the real customers are and where the real pain points and the people that are actually trying to solve the problem. So you don't want to go to someone who has the problem, may or may not have the problem, but isn't doing anything to solve it. They don't have enough of that activation energy, you could call it, to actually solve the problem, and they won't be the right user for what you're building. Anyways, Jack, you got any tips or points that we've learned from either the meeting or whatever you want to call it today, or that YC essay? I'll tell you if I've already covered it.
Okay. Let's see, big things are interviews over surveys. That's good to know. That's a operational thing to know.
In person over surveys.
Conceptual though was we knew that there would be issues in like behavior interruption to get people to use it, but I didn't think of it in the perspective that the guy mentioned, which was some people just aren't going to be aren't proactive in trying to solve their problems, and they're just going to complain.
Yep.
Those aren't in the market anyways.
Yep. So type of
like people that like are upset with InvestorLift or something like that. That's what we want.
upset with InvestorLift and actively trying to find ways to fix it.
Yeah.
On top of that, actually reminded me of another point is, although we've been in the industry for 6 months and we know a good amount of people in the industry, and from what we've seen, we've gotten validation on the idea. The world is so much bigger, and we can't assume our idea right now is what the marketplace needs. We need more data and more emphasis on market research. So, if you're starting anything out, before you build a product, before you put in time and money and effort into software, now there's a balance here. You don't want to just do market research and lose the valuable time of building that software, but you also want to know where you stand and what direction you're going before getting too far in and too deep to a point where it's going to cost you more time and effort to maneuver versus starting later. But all in all, that's pretty much all I got for you today. If you found this valuable, drop a like, drop a comment. If you didn't, drop a hate comment. And check out at Jack Savage RE for more videos. But yeah, other than that, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.